Hello everybody, it's myself, Jonathan, also known as the PC Genie, and today we're going to have a look at the degree of tailoring that's needed in Armour when looking to buy and obtain such of your own. So, I've got a few examples that I've already bought myself here. They would require varying levels, and I'll say it right from the beginning, I'd always recommend, if possible in your budget, trying to get your armour tailor-made and properly fitted to you as much as possible to ensure that you've got a secure fit so it's comfortable and easy to wear that armour pretty much all day without too much encumberment or restriction on your movement or just general discomfort. But to simplify, I've pretty much separated them into a sort of an easy, medium and hard to fit to you, and I'll go into them from there. So, our first item, which is a lot more flexible, easy, and you can pretty much get them in almost like you'd get in sort of standard men's and women's sizes for clothing like you'd see at a local, clothing shop such as Next or something, which is this. And this is, in this particular example, it's a riveted male haubergeon. It's just what other people would call chainmail. It's a half-sleeved shirt, so it doesn't even need tailoring in terms of getting the correct arm span and also the correct sort of wrist circumference. In a situation like this, since it's just half-sleeved, it would hang fairly loosely. And like I said, in terms of the space around the waist, it can go in a fairly standardised size. It's quite easy to have, and also because the way the rings can sort of contract and they can stretch out to the way the rings would be. In fact, let's see if I can get a better view. They can pretty much just contract like this, curl and bunch up, and then stretch again. So because of that, it's not something where it only is in one size and shape. It's got plenty of flexibility, and it also has a sort of degree of stretch and compression, even though obviously you can't stretch the steel itself. So hence, it's alright to wear. In fact, I'll actually put it on now, you can see for yourself. So, here we are. Obviously I'm in my male armour. Now as you can see, as I move around, it's got plenty of flexibility and movement. I can raise my arms fully above my head, do whatever I need to, like half swording, and move about, do cuts and thrusts, all those kinds of things, do plenty of footwork. And I've got all that flexibility and movement. And because of the flexibility of male armour, apart from the fact that it's excellent as an armour in terms of it doesn't impede your movements, it also, like I said, means that it doesn't hinder when it comes to having to tailor it. Now again, these are half sleeve, but you'll notice they hang quite loose. Now if that went all the way along the full sleeve, it wouldn't work properly and end up getting caught amongst yourself and getting tangled, and it really wouldn't work properly. That's when you need to make sure it's got not at the armourer type of tailoring, but just enough rough measurements so that they get the correct arm length and the correct circumference so that it will fit fairly snugly. And then you can have something like a belt here. I mean, this is a cheap version I've just grabbed quickly, but helps to bear the weight nice and easy and flexible. And I've got plenty of movement, plenty of ability to fight in it. Hence why I called this one the easy version. Right, so for our next item, we've got, for the simplicity of this video, call the medium, which is this. This is Brigandine armour. Now, to those of you who might be thinking it's studded leather or something like that, or just simply don't understand what it is, I've got in here this sort of steel plate. This is actually from the repair kit that came free from Steel Mastery with this. Basically, you've got these steel plates, got holes put into it, and then it's attached to a wool cloth like this, and then it's attached, and these little studs on the outside are rivets, so it all attaches together. Now it's not something that's entirely one plate of steel, but it's rigid, obviously with individual plates overlapping and going across each other. It means that it's not as flexible as the male we've just discussed, but it's more sort of rigid in the areas of the plates, but there's plenty of flexibility in between them, and with the correct amount of tailoring, like I did myself online, just with general measurements, it can come out perfectly fine. And in my case, mine actually fits really well. So I'll put it on for you now, and you can see for yourself. So, on this version, as you can see, well, I'm wearing it with the male as well, you normally would be. Now as you can see, it's a lot more rigid and it doesn't move up, well, I've got plenty of ability to move around and do whatnot, fighting with cuts again, thrusts, that sort of thing, and parries, but it's not got as much flex and movement as before. It's like if I try to bend too far forward, these plates at the front start to bunch up and start to cause a bit of restriction, but I've still got plenty of movement, and in this case I had this particular Brigandine properly tailor-made. So it's got enough flexibility, I'm not completely restricted, I can go this far in, this far out, so fully outwards, because there's plenty of movement in the arms. Like I say, I can bend forwards, backwards, that sort of thing. But again, it helps to have it properly fitted, because although I've got this belt now to suspend it, which keeps it in a sort of slightly bulbous shape on the torso. Let's get a closer showing. Notice how it starts to bulb out here on my podgy belly. That fits better to me, but one thing that helps is the fact that I had it tailor-made. So the dimensions, I've got it on the pretty much the tightest of all of these straps around the sides. You get some around the front and things like that. But you see, it's got all the perfect coverage and it's still got excellent movement. Now if I'd compromised and got something in a more generic, sort of broadly measuring size, it wouldn't fit properly and I'd start to see hindrance in movement, gaps being opened in the armour, and other problems like that. So although I'm getting a bit hot admittedly under all this armour, my movement is pretty much still just as good as it was before. Now for our final example, I've got this here. This is a steel cuirass, it's got a breastplate and it's also got a backplate. Now this unfortunately was something I bought rather cheaply, admittedly, from the night shop, which is the same place I got this mail on, which is perfectly fine. But the problem is, because I bought it so cheaply and it was in just pretty much sort of one size, it fits me very poorly. It's rigid, so it basically has to be tailor-made exactly to your specifications. In fact, as other YouTubers like Ian Lespina, aka Knight Errant, would say, you should, and I completely agree, having experienced this already, you should basically go to an armourer and actually have it measured on you, not even just measurements sent off to someone, but actually be there with the smith as they're making the armour to ensure that it definitely fits you securely and snugly, because there is almost no room for give on this. And just to show how bad it can turn out, I'll put it on for you now and you can see for yourself. So yes, this, well, as you can see, I mean, it's not even fitting properly. As in, this is a one size fits most supposedly, but I tried even with assistance to get it sort of fastened to just as tight as possible, and we can hardly get it fastened at all. Mismatched, poorly made, poorly tailored. Oh, and also, one thing that you might notice about the armour, it just slopes like that, because as we all know, that's exactly how the human body is shaped. It's exactly why this much going on. It's like I'm wearing, imagine, you know, those steel dustbins, it's a bit like wearing one of those, and when I try to bend at all, I'll choke myself to death. Some gentle movements, hard, can't move my arms any further than this. Got obviously movement back here, but nothing there. If I try to raise my arms, it lifts the entire cuirass. It's bad. The back plate and all the rest, it's just generally poor quality. I can't really fight in this. I mean, if I was someone like someone using an arquebus or some other firearm, maybe I could just, you know, keep going from there, and this will just be semi-adequate protection. But really, if I want to do any kind of fighting in this, it's difficult. Rubbish. Total rubbish. So, that wraps it up for today. So yes, moral of the story is, if possible, and often even if you think you'll have to wait longer to have a good enough budget and save up, I would strongly recommend that you get whatever armour you have tailor-made and properly fitted to you, so you don't have to endure discomfort, poor fitting and poor coverage. See you later guys, and see you in the next video.
It's got 3 hours, but I can't get past 1. Doesn't match up at all.